Good day, everyone. My name is Auntie Joy Ibudia. I am the basic science teacher. Today, we are going to be looking at the skeletal system. Before we discuss on skeleton, every human being or human beings as living organisms has the ability to change position. Every living organism, unlike plants, has the ability to move from one place to another. And that makes it easy because of the skeleton in the animal. Now, what is skeleton? Skeleton is defined as a bony structure or a frame which supports and gives rigidity to the body of animal. The skeleton is that structure that supports the animal. It gives the animal shape and helps in movement. Types of skeleton. We have the endoskeleton, the exoskeleton, and the hydroskeleton. We are going to look at them one after the other. The endoskeleton is the appearance of a bony structure inside the body of an animal. The endoskeleton is the appearance of a bony structure inside the body of an animal. And examples of such animals include man, goat, cow, and so many others. The exoskeleton here is the appearance of the bony structure outside the body of an animal. Is the appearance of the bony structure outside the bodies of an animal. And animals that possesses this exoskeleton includes crab, crayfish, millipede, centipede, and some insects. They possess an exoskeleton. Then the hydroskeleton, here it serves as flutes. Flutes serves as the skeleton in the animal. And the animal that possesses this skeleton are earthworms and worms, various types of worms. Now, let's look at the skeleton itself as a whole. The skeleton is divided into two main parts. The first part is known as the skeleton, and the second part is the appendicular skeleton. The skeleton consists of the skull and the vertebral column. The skeleton consists of the skull and the vertebral column, or the spine. That is where you have the neck region. The neck region. From the neck region here, upward, is known as the skeleton. Then the appendicular skeleton consists of the girdle, the pectoral girdle, down to the hind limb. The appendicular skeleton or skeleton consists of the girdle from the pectoral girdle down to the hind limb. And note, there are two girdles in the appendicular skeleton. We have two girdles in the appendicular skeleton. the pectoral girdle or the shoulder girdle. The pectoral or the shoulder girdle and the pelvic girdle. Before we come to that aspect, first, we are going to look at the vertebral column or the spine. These are the spines. We are going to look at the spines. There are 33 vertebra or vertebral column in an animal or in human. The vertebra or the vertebral column consists of 33 vertebra, and it is separated by the intervertebral disc or cartilage. These vertebrae are separated by this structure here, a bony structure called the intervertebral disc or cartilage. Now, this vertebra starts from the base of the skull. The vertebra begins from the base of the skull down to the tail region. It begins from the base of the skull down to the tail region, which means that the vertebral column passes through 5 different ways in the human body. The vertebral column passes through 5 regions in the human body. Now we are going to identify those regions. The first region is at the neck. The first region is located at the neck, which is called the cervical vertebra. Which is called the cervical vertebra. Then the second vertebra is located at the chest. Note that this vertebra is 7 in number. The cervical vertebra is 7 in number and is located at the neck region. That is the spine, 7 in number. Then the second vertebra is at the chest region, which is known as the thorax. Then the name of the vertebra is thoracic, or thorax. Is thorax. The name of this vertebra at the neck region, which is the first one I started with, is the cervical vertebra. Then the second vertebra at the chest region is called the thoracic vertebra. The third vertebra at the abdominal side, the dorsal side of the abdomen. The vertebra there, its name is lumbar. It's called the lumbar vertebra. Like I said earlier, there are 33 in number. The first one, which is the cervical vertebra, is 7. The second one, which is the thoracic vertebra, is 12 in number. And all these vertebrae or spines are being separated by a structure called the cartilage or the intervertebral disc. Then, the third vertebra, because they are located in 5 regions, they pass through 5 regions in the human body. The third vertebra, which is at the dorsal side of the abdomen, which is called the lumbar vertebra, is 5 in number. They are 5 in number and also are being separated by this structure called the cartilage. Then when you get to the fourth region, which is the vertebra at the hip region, where you have the pelvic girdle. This is the pelvic girdle. Then at the hip region, you have the sacral vertebra. And the sacral vertebra is also 5 in number. Then you get to the caudal vertebra, which is the 5th region. where it is being located at the pelvic girdle. The fifth region here is known as the cauda vertebra. But in this cauda, the vertebra is not present. In sacra, the spines is being reduced. We are coming to that later. There are the pictures. The spines are being reduced. But in cauda, there are no spines. No spine, no neural canal. Now, and in cauda vertebra, which is the fifth region in the human body, which is the cauda, has 4 vertebrae. 4 vertebral column. Put together, you have 33 vertebrae in the human body. Now, under the cervical vertebra, which is located at the neck region, we have structure called the intervertebra, which is the vertebratia. Under here, we have a material called the vertebratia. It has vertebratia, and this vertebratia is divided into 2. The first part is the atlas. That is to say, under the cervical vertebra, we have the atlas and the axis. The atlas is the first part, and the axis is the second part in the cervical vertebra. I repeat, the vertebra begins from the skull down to the hindleg. Now, I said it passes through 5 regions in the human body, which begins from the neck region, which is known as the cervical vertebra, and it is 7 in number. Then at the chest region, the name of this vertebra is called the thoracic vertebra. The thoracic vertebra is 12 in number, and they are being separated. Each of these vertebrae are separated by a structure called the cartilage or intervertebral disc. Then you go to the third region, which is located at the abdominal side of the skeleton. There are 5 in number, which has the name lumbar vertebra. Then you go to the hip region. The hip region, the vertebra is known as the sacral vertebra, and they are 5 in number. Then the last vertebra, which is located at the tail region, is an invisible tail. At the tail region is 4 in number. They are 4 in number. Put together, when you sum it, you have 33 vertebrae in the human skeleton. Now, like I said earlier, that the cervical vertebra has vertebratia. This vertebratia is divided into 2. It's a structure, a body structure here that is divided into 2. The first one is the atlas. The atlas has a cervical wing. Has a cervical wing. The atlas, and the second one is the axis. At the cervical vertebra, and the axis has adductor process. When you look at it in your skeleton, it resembles, looks like a teeth. It has an adductor process. Then, the thoracic vertebra, which is at the chest region, has a well-developed neural spine. It has a pair of structure, which is a spine, pair of spines that points backward. The pair of spines that points backward at the thoracic region, which is the chest region, and has a short transverse process. They are in pair, has a short transverse process. Then the third region, which is at the lumbar vertebra, the dorsal side of the abdomen. The name of the vertebra, as I said earlier, is lumbar vertebra, and they are 5 in number. And this vertebra has also a well-developed transverse process. And you go to the hip region, where you have the guido. You have 5 vertebrae, which are called the sacral vertebra. The sacral vertebra has narrow neural spine, very narrow. They have narrow neural spine. Then when you get to the last one, which is the tail region, it has no spine, no neural spine, no canal. Now, we are going to look at the second part of the skeleton, which is the appendicular skeleton. Don't forget, I earlier said that the skeleton is divided into two, the ulcer and the appendicular skeleton. The ulcer consists of the cervical down upwards down to the skull. But now we are going to look at the appendicular skeleton, which begins from the pectoral guido. The pectoral is called the pectoral or shoulder guido. So the appendicular skeleton consists of 2 guidos, the pectoral guido and the pelvic guido. The pectoral guido is found around the shoulder. This is the pectoral guido. When you look at this structure very well, you will see this shape like this. This shape. You have it here also. Despite the structure here, you have it here also. Like this. They are guidos. Now, this guido here is called the pectoral guido or shoulder guido. And the bones that forms this guido are the clavicle or collarbone. You call it clavicle. That is the top here. The clavicle or collarbone. And the scapula or shoulder blade. Look at it here. The scapula or shoulder blade. So these are the 2 bony structures that forms the pectoral guido. Now, let's look at the pelvic guido, because there are 2 guidos in or present in the appendicular skeleton. The pelvic guido is found around the hip. This is the guido found, or the bony structure found around the hip. And the bones that forms these guidos, or this guido, are the ilium. The bones that forms this guido are the ilium, the pubis, and the ischium. As time goes on, you are going to have your notes. The ilium, the pubis, and the ischium. They are the 3 main bones that forms the pelvic guido. The ilium is the largest or the widest of the bony structure in the pelvic guido. It has the largest and the first of the bony structure at the pelvic girdle. Then the second, which is at the middle, that looks like an arc, is the pupit, which is the pubic bone. Then the third one, which is the last bone that makes up the pelvic girdle, is the ischium. Now, under the appendicular skeleton, we have the limbs. Don't forget that the appendicular skeleton begins from the shoulder blade, which is the collarbone, down to the hind limb. Now, the hind limb, we have the forehind limb. The forehind limb and the hind limb, the forehind limb and the hind limb. The forehind limb and the hind limb. The forehind limb begins from the shoulder, the collarbone. The forehind limbs begin from the collarbone. That is from here to here. Your hand is your forehind limb. Then this forehind limb, the upper forehind limb, from your shoulder, which is your collarbone, down to your elbow, this bony structure here is called the humerus. The upper hind limb is called the humerus. Look at it. The upper hind limb is called the humerus. And the lower hind limb, has two bones. One is ulnar and the other is radius. You have the ulnar and the radius at the lower hind limb. That is from your elbow down to your palm, which is here. From this region down to here is the lower forelimb. The upper forelimb, the lower forelimb. Then let's come to the hind limb, which begins from the hip, which is the pelvic girdle, which is your leg bone. The leg bone at the pelvic girdle, from your hip down to your knee here. The bony structure here is called the femur. The bony structure here, which is the upper hind limb, is called the femur. And the femur is the longest bone in the human body. Then at the joint here, the bony structure here is called the patella. Then the lower hind limb, you also have two bones. The first is the tibia, and we have the fibula. The tibia and the fibula. The tibia is larger, and the fibula is tinier. And other labeled parts. These are the vertebra. These are the ribs. In collection here you have the rib cage, which protects some vital organs in the human body, like the heart and the kidney, the heart and the lungs, and other vital organs. In the human skeleton, we have various parts where these bones meet. We have various parts where these bones meet, and those parts are referred to as joints. So we describe joints as a place where two or more bones meet. Joint is described as a place where two or more bones meet. We have two types of joints: the immovable joints and the movable joints. The immovable joints and the movable joints. The immovable joints and movable joints. Now let's begin with the immovable joints. The immovable joints are the joints where movement is not possible. It is the joint at which movement is not possible. And this joint is located at the skull. Example of immovable joints is the nature of the skull. You can see the skull. The skull are bony structure that looks like a box. They are bony structure that fused together to form a box. So, in this part, movement is not possible. So, it is an example of an immovable joint, the nature of the skull. Then, under the movable joints, we have the ball and socket joint. We have 4 types of movable joints. We have 4 types of movable joints. The first part of the joint is called the ball and socket joint. The second is called the hinge joint. And we have the pivot joint. Lastly, we have the plane joint. We call it plane or gliding joints. Now let's look at these various parts of the joints where bones meet together. These are examples of movable joints. Under the movable joints, movement is possible, at least to an extent, movement is possible, unlike the immovable joints. Now, the ball and socket joint here, there is possibility of movement. Circular movement of the body is possible. Now, okay, the movable joint, like I said earlier, includes the ball and socket joints, the hinge joints, pivot joints, the plane joints or gliding joints. Now let's look at them one after the other. The ball and socket joints, here circular movement of the body is possible. One bone forms depression, that is, a bone forms sockets. Don't forget, the ball and socket joint is found at the pectoral girdle, which is at your collar bone, the collar bone. One of these bones forms a depression. Look at it, just like a hole. Then another forms or looks like a ball. That is here, where you have your shoulder, the collar bone. Then these two meets together, comes together at a joint. So, at this particular joint, movement is possible. A circular movement of the body is possible. One bone forms depression, which is the socket, and another forms a ball or looks like a ball. that enters into this depression. Look at the word, enters into this depression, which is this socket on the first bone here. Then the ball and socket joints are found around the shoulder, just like I said earlier, they are found around the shoulder, and also the pelvic girdle in the hip. Here is your pelvic girdle at the hip here. So at your hip here and at your collarbone, the joint here is called the ball and socket joint, and it allows a circular movement of the body. It allows circular movement of the body at your pelvic girdle, that is your hip. It allows circular movement of the body. That is one. Two, the hinge joint. The hinge joint is the bony structure, or is the joint at the chest region. The hinge joint the hinge joint is located or found at the elbow. It allows only a plane movement. It's found at the elbow and at the knee. The elbow and the knee. This is called the hinge joint. It allows a plane movement. Then the pivot joint is the joint at the cervical vertebra. The pivot joint allows nodding rotational movements. The pivot joint allows nodding rotational movements. It is found in between the two cervical vertebra, which is the atlas and the axis. So the joint here at the neck region, the joint here at the neck region is called the pivot joint, that allows nodding rotational movements, and is found or located at or in between the first two cervical vertebra, that is the atlas and the axis. So this part or this joint here is called the pivot joint. The last one, which is the plane joint, is the joint found at the wrist. This is found around the wrist and the ankle. The plane or gliding joint is the joint found around the wrist. You can look at it here. The bony structure here is called the carpa. The joint here is called the plane, is a plane joint, and also at the ankle. At the ankle here, the joint here also is known as a plane joint. The plane joint allows the sliding of bones over one another. Sliding of bones over one another. The skeleton, or the joint is made up of structures. There are structures of the joints. The main part of joints here consists of 4 structures. The first structure is called the ligaments. The first structure is known as the ligaments. The ligament is the structure. Okay. Now, these are, okay, the last one, there are 5 in number. These are the structures of the joints. They are the structures at a particular joint, or the structures that forms a joint. The first structure here is called or known as the ligament. The ligament is that bony structure that holds the bone to a joint. The ligament holds the bone together at a joint. It holds the bone together at a joint. In all these various joints, there are structures. Those are what we are looking at. The first one is the ligament that holds the bone at a particular joint. Then we have the articular cartilage, which serves as a shock absorber. The articular cartilage serves as a shock absorber. It absorbs shock. When joints surface joining bones from wearing out, when there is an injury or there is a bruise, this structure or this substance here, they are soft bony structure, they are soft, found at the joints. So when there is an accident or a bruise around the surface of the joint, this chemical material helps to absorb the shock, whereby preventing the bones from wearing off or wearing out. Then we have the synovial fluid. The synovial fluid lubricates the joints and allows free movement. This fluid here at a joint, it lubricates the joints, whereby allows free movement of the body. Then the membrane, the synovial membrane, seals up these fluids. The synovial membrane seals up the synovial fluids in the joints and secretes synovial fluids that prevents friction. It is that material that seals up the fluids, the synovial fluids, at a joint, and at the same time secretes, which means produces synovial fluids that helps to prevent friction. Then lastly, we have the tendon. The tendon attaches the muscle to the bone. The tendon attaches the muscle to the bone, which is to the skeleton. The muscle is the fleshy part of the body. The skeleton and the muscle work together to produce movements. Without the skeleton, the body cannot function. Without the muscle, the body cannot function. So, the skeleton and the muscle work together to produce movement, makes movement possible. And the tendon is that material or a chemical substance which attaches these two together, that attaches the muscle and the bone. In all, skeleton is very important to the body. The skeleton is very important to the body. One, the importance of skeleton or the function of skeleton is that it allows movement. It makes movement possible. The bones and the muscle help the body in movement. It makes movement possible. We are rounding up by looking at the functions of the skeleton. The skeleton is very important to the body because it supports the body in movement. It gives rigidity. That means it gives shape to the body. It gives shape to the body, supports the body in movement, the body of animal in movement, and also helps in protecting some delicate organs in the body. The skeleton protects some delicate organs in the body, like the brain. You can see from our diagram here, from the skeletal structure here, the skull is the bony structure that encloses the brain. So it protects the brain. The skeleton also, for example, the rib cage here protects the heart, the lungs, and so many other vital organs in the human body. Also help in respiration. Skeleton helps the function. They help in respiration. Lastly, provision of surface area for muscle attachments. Lastly, the skeleton provides surface area. All the surfaces are being attached by muscle, which helps or makes movement possible. So, here comes the end of the class. The assignment you are going to write for me is to describe, you are going to describe the importance of movement to human being. Describe the importance of movement to human being. Assignment. You are going to describe the importance of movement Thank you, and see you in our next class.